Hello! Welcome to this unseasonably live Gorecast on a Sunday, because usually we record on a Sunday and then you see it the following week, whereas for undisclosed reasons, for the next 3 or 4 weeks, we're going to be going live every Sunday. And this Sunday, have we got a chunky meat-sized morsel for you to eat? Man-sized morsel.
We said we'd start off going live by talking about the undead! We've mentioned various films in the past on the Gorecast, and this time we said, you know what? Fuck this for a tub of shit. We're going to do ourselves a zombie show.
Zombie Nation.
Zombie Nation.
Zombie.
So with that in mind, we're going to be reviewing a couple of films that are pivotal. Well, one of them is certainly pivotal when it comes to the zombie genre.
One of them's just straight up entertaining.
Yeah.
Which comes from I Bleed Indie.
Yeah. And the third film, couple of interesting points worth mentioning about that, and we'll get into it. But before all that, a brief history of zombies in cinema. See, as I discussed in the Voodoo show before, the term of zombie basically loosely generally comes from voodoo.
Mm-hmm. Voodoo?
That voodoo that you do.
Ah, that voodoo.
Yeah. The word zombie itself actually first came to Western culture, I think, in 1819. And it was a guy... it was actually a guy writing about Brazil at first, and he spelled it Z-O-M-B-I. But that kind of went underground. It wasn't actually 1929 and the release of...
Isn't that how you spell zombie anyway?
Z-O-M-B-I.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I forgot about the E.
Yeah, there's usually an E at the end of it.
Unusual for me to forget about these.
I thought all that was behind you.
Yes.
Yeah, well then.
Never forget, though.
Yeah. 1929 saw the actual traditional Z-O-M-B-I being popularized in Western culture through a book called The Magic Island. So that was the first time that people really kind of, the word started being used, and 1932, that was it. A few years later, you had the very famous Bela Lugosi film White Zombie, wherein basically, much like the Haitian notion, zombies are being used as slave labor.
Man-slaves. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mindless, kind of like
Dracula's.
Dracula's.
They're not exactly mindless either. I think it depends on the zombie. There's a couple of them brought back, and they've got a bit of functionality to them. I think it's But
kind of like what's his name from Dracula? The
Renfield.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Renfield was fully cognizant. He was just
but as you said, some of them weren't all together zombie.
This is true. This is true.
Just if for some reason you weren't up on the original starting off as zombies, Renfield would be a good knowable comparison-ish.
Ish.
Magic, mindless, does what he's told. Zombie.
Renfield isn't mindless. His mind is shattered.
Yes, but okay, sorry, not mindless. His free will is...
Subverted?
Yeah.
Anyway, following the success of White Zombie, you had zombies popping up between, from the 30s to the 60s. You had them being used in a couple of times, but never really given any, it was very rare that they were a big threat. Although I suppose, as I said, there's two films that really come to mind when it comes to that span between the 30s and 60s. One of them is I Walked with a Zombie. That was it. And the other big one, I think, was Planet 9 from Outer Space. That was it. Both of those basically featuring zombies, different reasons, science fiction, blah, blah, blah. It wouldn't be until 1968 and George A. Romero's infamous film Night of the Living Dead that, the zombie genre really got started properly. We'll be discussing more about Night of the Living Dead later on because, as I said, we're going to be going over a pivotal film. After that came along, and with the explosion of Romero's other movies, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, we saw zombies being taken up and once again used as not just this kind of sideshow thing, but actually being brought onto proper threat levels, the likes of, werewolves, vampires, other such Creature from the Black Lagoon, other things like that. Once Romero's movie hit the cinemas, once people reacted to that film, then all of a sudden zombies are a big thing and can be used, I'm not going to say sporadically, but can be used more openly by filmmakers. There was, as I said, you had zombie films being done in the 80s and the 90s, but it wasn't again until Early 2000s.
It was literally. Oh no, I wouldn't even say Dawn of the Dead. Like 28 Days Later would have been a big.
Yeah, well,
they're not the typical zombie, but
20 had, yeah, as I was saying, the early 2000s, you had 28 Days Later, you
the
had
Dawn
the
of the Dead
Dawn
remake,
of
which
the-
is a big one,
Romero's Dawn
Yeah.
of the Dead remake,
and the rest of that series.
Shaun of the Dead was
Shaun of the
actually
Dead.
another one, whereby the zombie genre,
So fucking good.
not the first time that somebody had done a comedy, a horror comedy with zombies, but certainly I think a definitive treatment since then would have been.
They stayed fantastically true to the kind of the mythos behind the zombies and all of that, but did manage to.
What I liked was the fact that there was never a clear definition as to why the zombies were there, which is
No,
something
they just.
which is something that's kind of if you look at zombies as a whole in cinema, it's something that's always fluctuated. Sometimes it's radiation, sometimes it's a voodoo spell, sometimes it's genetics, sometimes the government's decided, hey, we want a zombie apocalypse because people are scum.
Or 28 Days Later, where it's not technically zombies, it's anger virus.
Whatever.
Much of it, muchness. They're all eating.
But the popularity of that film and others like it is what brought the zombie genre to where it is now, whereby it's in popular culture, it's in advertisements. That famous Lucasade ad.
I love
That's
that
awesome.
Lucasade.
That's awesome. TV shows like The Walking Dead for masochists and Z Nation for people that actually like shows, like to enjoy things. There's been some fantastic foreign zombie movies that have occurred. Wreck, which I've mentioned before.
So good.
Spanish series of zombie movies showing how found footage should be done.
Yeah, The Horde.
The Horde was another good one.
French.
Spanish,
I think.
Spanish, I thought. One or the other.
I want to say French, but you could be right. Don't ask me why.
Outpost is another good one. Not foreign so much, but not foreign so much, but it takes a nice little twist on zombies or Nazis creating zombies and this whole undead regiment. Most recently, I think, if you want to go into foreign zombie movies, Train to Busan. We were a hair's breadth from reviewing that, if not for the fact that our cohort Ill Will has already done a review. So go check out that, and you'll see exactly why myself and him are kind of like, can we review it? Can we review it? It's been done. Okay.
It's not a video review; it's a written article review. So
you're going to have to read
www.emeraldgoresociety.com.
Yeah, and you can check out the review on there.
He has his own section, isn't it? Ill Will's something.
Yes.
Yeah. So just go into the Emerald Gore Society, search Ill Will, and try to do we might cover it sometime.
Maybe.
People need some visuals. She's fantastic. The movie in general, I'm not talking about
right.
The movie as a she.
Okay.
Kind of like you refer to your car.
Bike. I drive a bike.
No, I mean like not you personally.
Anyway, since the West's realization of the term zombie in the 1920s and the start of the cinematic trend towards him with White Zombie, as we said, the zombie genre of film has actually taken on a life of its own. Once merely a subgenre of horror, we can now look at the works of Romero and see the social commentary that is laced throughout it. People have then worked from that notion and use zombies as a microcosm, I guess. Basically, you create a situation where people are surrounded by a no-win situation, and it is the ideal way to
people still
examine
seem to comment us on YouTube or on Facebook instead of YouTube.
Well, I don't care. But it gives a fantastic way of basically
Zero fucks.
Examining certain characteristics of humanity. They're petri dishes. You make a zombie movie and you can theoretically have a petri dish of human personality traits going off on a tangent. And as a result, that's led to the popularity of things like the zombie apocalypse genre, which The Walking Dead fucking masochistically employs and Z Nation hilariously employs to great benefit. It's, as I said, it's not just the films, it's not just the small screen. Literature, in the last 17 years, has seen an upswing in the zombie stories. Hang on a second. The Book of All Flesh. Well, that's the Book of Final Flesh. 3 books of zombie anthology stories woven around the All Flesh Must Be Eaten RPG, which I'm not sure if that still runs or not, but some of the funniest stories I've read involving zombies are in that. Great parodies of stuff as well, like There's one. Same night, different farmhouse. And it's basically Night of the Living Dead, except kind of different things. And
I like that. I like when they did that with Ganso as well, where one movie followed one group and then the sequel followed a different group of people. Ganso is a thing we covered on Anna Nightmares, but the second movie then follows a different group of people, but it's in the exact same timeline as there's even a big fight that you see in one that they're having another fight on the other side of the city, but you can see all the explosions and stuff happening in the background. It's very well done. It's the Asian filmmaking again.
A couple of the stories in those books I've actually seen more or less being, I don't want to say ripped off, but I think
rehashed.
I think that
is the word.
I think that film, The Returned, whereby like zombies, some people can kind of come out of the zombie-ish type trance or something like that.
It's not the first movie I've seen.
I don't know, but
do that.
Yeah, but I first read a similar story. It was Relapse. It was in that, and it was
just complimenting you and your vocab.
Yay! Anyway, as I said, the zombies themselves, having moved from what was initially almost a henchman-like status, the original White Zombie, Witch Doctor, he's literally got them as his minions, for want of a better term. Yeah, I'm just a little bit dying.
Okay.
Anyway, but now of course they are the full-blown world-ending threat that they are today, which is why, as I said, they're fucking everywhere. I mean, which is hilarious because one of the most famous zombie movies is actually based on a story which is all about vampires.
I'm going to have to ask you to elaborate.
Well, that all depends, I suppose. Night of the Living Dead. We might as well kick off with the first of the film reviews.
Yeah.
1968 saw the world being introduced to the movie that revolutionized the notion of zombies. As I said, they had been popping up in the between the 30s and the 60s and been used in a henchman-like status, but for the first time they were brought to the screen and made a very visceral threat, a proper full-on, there is no escape, no matter what you do, no matter where you go, you're boned. And the whole premise kind of started off from the old 1950s book I Am Legend, which
had a terrible remake.
Had a couple, really. Technically speaking, the Omega Man is a rendition of I Am
Yes,
Legend,
that's very true, actually.
Whereby
that wasn't bad, though.
Yeah, but and then Will Smith's I Am Legend, but the original,
which technically wasn't bad either. It was just, I don't know, it was just kind of.
It's just that they didn't use fucking vampires the way they were supposed to use.
No, and they also killed the guy off way too early.
I don't know. I don't care. But anyway, Romero, having read the original I Am Legend, and wanting, because it was the 60s, because everyone was kind of socially active, I guess is the best way of putting it. They wanted to make a film that worked on a couple of different levels. Taking inspiration from I Am Legend, the notion of a soul survivor, or in this case, a soul group. I think probably the original Spam in the Can, whereby they are surrounded by hordes of the undead. There is seemingly no way out. And once again, you have the original microcosm, whereby different survival traits and different human characteristics are brought to the forefront. The film itself, of course, starts in the infamous graveyard scene where Barbara and her annoying brother... Annoying brother Johnny...
I know you.
Yeah, funnily enough. Are going to visit the grave...
That's cold, man.
Yeah.
Cold as a zombie.
Not as cold as the ice. Anyway. They go to visit the grave of... Yeah, they go to visit the grave of what I think is their grandfather or something like that, or maybe their grandmother. Johnny's bitching and complaining because it's a fucking long-ass drive, and Barbara's just like, look, shut up and we get this shit done. And as they're leaving, Johnny starts taking the piss out of Barbara when he sees this guy shuffling down, and that infamous coming up from behind the tombstone, remarkable about when they were kids and used to scare her out, and he's coming to get you, Barbara. And Johnny walks away, and sure enough, this fucking thing actually is coming to get her. She's attacked by this shambling thing. So Johnny comes to the rescue, and
sticks the boot in.
Yeah, the zombie fucking flings Johnny off, and Johnny's head cracks on one of those.
The thing with zombies in Night of the Living Dead as well is they're not they do have the kind of the slow walk, but they're not.
Well, I I like the way that it's slow walking, and then they get within striking distance, and all of a sudden there is that.
They're very predatory.
Yeah, but that's how Romero always did his zombies. That's where a lot of the confusion came about. But anyway, Johnny's head gets cracked open like a sour watermelon, and Barbara goes pegging it. She gets to the car, doesn't so much crash the car as hits it, dents it on a tree, and decides it's no more use. Gets out and pegs it through the woods. Fair news to the actress that played Barbara, because she actually did do all her own stunts.
Yeah.
And commented that most of those stunts involving her basically pegging it through the woods. So yeah, Barbara eventually gets to this house, whereby she goes creeping in around, discovers a corpse, gets freaked out, gets back outside, discovers she's been followed by more of the undead, and then gets yanked into the house by Ben. Interesting to note, 1968 being one of those messed up times in the world, because hey, when isn't life a messed up time? So the casting of a black hero, basically, in a film which is all other white co-stars, I guess, was a bit of an interesting... What the hell?
Wait, sorry, that popped up quicker than I was expecting it to. Sorry about that.
Funnily enough, in the 1990 remake of Night of the Living Dead...
Okay, I might as well bring it back.
Yeah. Ben is played by none other than Tony Todd.
Tony Todd.
But, yeah.
It's Tony Todd. Well, it's not... Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, in the remake, Barbara is played by...
Barbara?
Is played by Patricia Tallman, who I really remember as Lita Alexander from Babylon 5.
Yeah. I never did that picture.
Yeah, you never did. But as I was saying, like at the time, kind of an intro. It was.
This also occurs to me. I'm going to have to bring in the YouTube page for the. Oh no, I don't. Actually, I can add it in a moment. It's okay.
Who gives a fuck?
Gives a fuck?
Who gives?
Oh, sorry. I thought.
No, you're not nearly hot enough for that.
Okay. Well, it could be a new T-shirt slogan. Yeah. I'm mad for the T-shirt slogan. Seriously, gives a fuck.
Where was I? Oh yeah, Barbara gets hauled into the house by Ben. As I said. Controversial having a black lead hero in a 1960s film, but anyway. She is understandably freaked the fuck out, and over the course of the next 10 minutes slowly goes into pandering of explaining her story and going insane. Actually, it's really, really inconsiderate of Ben at one point, because Ben tells his, there's no reaction out of Barbara, He's like, what's going on out there?
There's never any reaction out of Barbara, though. She kind of...
react. Well, no, there is after a while, but she's pure stony faced, and she's in shock basically. And Ben tells this story about how he got the truck that's parked outside, how he found it, and how the guy that was in it was being kind of eaten and all that. And he goes through this entire story, and then Barbara starts to talk, and he's like, "Will you stop talking? Shut up, woman!" Blah, blah, blah. And you're kind of sitting there going, "You insensitive prick! You couldn't
fucking A, Ben. Stand up for yourself."
You couldn't let her get it out of her system so that she might be useful to you later on, because now she's just a gibbering heap. Anyway.
She's not super gibbering.
She kind of is at the time, and she's a fucking wreck.
She's a blubberfest online.
Yeah, she is. I can't remember if they tried to leave or not, but basically after being in the house...
There's a brief... We need to get out of the house. They're surrounding the house. Then one person gets out the door of the house, and they get fucking massacred.
No, that's not what happens.
Okay.
No.
Sorry.
Because they first realise that they're...
I'm meshing movies together again.
Yeah. Ben and Barbara go exploring around the house and encounter another corpse, and they do drop the corpse. That's it. They find a half-eaten woman, maybe, and throw her out front.
Sorry. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, the point is, after being in the house for a while, only then do they realise there's a bunch of people in the fucking basement who heard them rattling around, heard them having conversations, and decided, we're going to stay down here where it's safe.
Well, in the defence of the people in the basement, they've never encountered zombies before. They haven't got close enough to a zombie to realise that they can't talk. So this could be a bunch of...
No, it's actually Harold Cooper, his wife, Helen, their injured kid, Karen.
Injured by a bite?
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, well, that's never going to go well.
Young Tom and his Mrs. Judith. Tom and Harold come up out of the basement with shotguns and stuff, and Ben is obviously a little bit...
There's a lot of white people with shotguns here.
No, he's a little bit ticked off that the fucktards didn't come up and give him a hand in the first fucking place. You've been down there the whole time? Yeah. You couldn't give us a hand? It's safe down there. Come on, we better get down in the basement. No.
I secretly would love a zombie apocalypse. Not like a full-blown one, but like
No,
a
you
little
just
mix.
want an excuse to go on a killing spree. We all do, and the zombie apocalypse is it. All right? It's the modern-day excuse to go on a psycho trip. And at the end of the day, that's all we are. Pent-up little psychopaths that want a reason to be able to beat people over the head with hammers and not be arrested for it.
I'll put it to you this way. If you look at the little animation picture we have for the start of the show, where I'm holding that grenade launcher, that is genuinely the face you would see on me if I had a grenade launcher in the zombie apocalypse.
As you can see, I decided to go Cactus Jack on that shit.
You do go Cactus Jack on it.
Yeah.
Hells yes.
Yeah. Anyway, Harold
Grenade
Cooper
launcher's so
is...
shiny.
Harold Cooper has decided he's in charge because he's the oldest white boy. And insists that they all go down into the basement, to which Ben replies, "Fuck no, you dumbass, that is what's known as the kill box. Instead, why don't you give me a hand barricading the shit out of this house?" Tom decides to be the peacemaker and decides to go and help Ben. Harold, Helen, and their kids stay down in the basement because fuck that for a tub of shit. Now the whole time they've got a TV and a radio. Once that's discovered, Harold is all of a sudden interested. They start watching various news reports whereby they're informed that there is a breakout of mass murder, cannibalistic attacks. There's nobody can figure out what's caused it, at least not at first. After a while, there's it's implied that there was this mission to Venus. This mission is coming back from Venus. I think it's a shuttle or a satellite or something like that. Radiation is detected from it, and the government just go, screw this for a tub of shit, we're going to shoot it. So they shoot it, and they blow it up, rather than let it come into the atmosphere. So it's theorized that this might be responsible for the dead now getting up and coming back and going on killing rampages.
As
they do.
Great excuse.
Now, over the course of these reports, it's also... they're also informed that...
Radio reports, isn't it?
No, they're watching a TV.
Already.
Actually, Romero makes a guest appearance in one of the later reports as an interviewer. He's interviewing... I'll get to that later on. Anyway, over the course of the reports, they hear that there are, I suppose, military settlements being set up, safe zones.
Yeah.
And people are encouraged to go to them. Now, as I said, the Cooper's kid, Karen, is injured. So Ben has the truck outside. The reason the truck has stopped, he stated previously, ran out of gas. There is a pump at this farm. There's a fuel pump. But at this stage, the deadheads, the zombies have arrived on. They've smashed in lights in... No, they smashed in lights in what Ben arrived in, and they can't get out because the zombies all of a sudden figure out that they can smash up a car.
Yeah.
But there's
this is
another...
what I was saying about the zombies in this, that they're not your average...
Well, yeah. There's another vehicle anyway, so Ben decides that they're going to try and get to the vehicle so that they can get help for Karen. Tom decides he's going to help. So the plan is Ben and Tom will do a legger while Harold basically hucks Molotov cocktails from a window upstairs to cover him while they make it to the Jeep, or to the truck. So this works out without a hitch. Judith, being a little bit paranoid and freaked out, decides that she's going to go along with Tom because it's his missus. So
yeah, it's the way things go.
Yep. Now, the plan goes swimmingly until they get to the petrol pump, wherein there's kind of a little bit of an incident involving fire. Fire. And things being set on fire. And people getting into trucks that are on fire and driving away. And people staying in the trucks because seatbelts are... Basically, two people go boom!
Not zombie go boom.
No.
No, two people go boom and a load of zombies watch.
Yeah. Ben gets back to the house wherein Mr. Cooper is a dick and has the fucking door closed and won't fucking open it. And Ben eventually gets in, is not happy with Cooper, and...
Punchy.
Right in the mush. Cosmic Howard locks this up.
Right in the mouth box.
Yeah. They go to work, Ben fucking goes to work fortifying the place again. And there's another news report wherein they hear that the only way to stop these things seemingly is to shoot or basically destroy the brain, and then you burn that fucking corpse. Which is hilarious because I think while this report is going on, they're looking at the charred remains of two of their former compatriots being gnawed upon by the undead. Yep, pretty much the way it goes.
I'm just trying to stop the hellhound from jumping clean into the shop.
I know. Once again, over the course of the film, you have this situation going on in the basement whereby the Cooper family are worried about their young one being all sickly and they're trying to get her out. And
she's starting to look more poorly and more poorly.
Yeah, Harold's doing his alpha male, fucking we should be down in the basement. They tried to board up the place again. Yeah, that's it. Did they get hit? No, the lights go out. I think because eventually the zombies managed to hit whatever generator was going or something like that.
Yeah. A couple of fried zombies.
Yeah. Harold decides to be a dick and tries to shoot Ben, I think, for some...
Harold's a bit of a dick the whole way through.
He is. He's pure alpha male. But then again, Ben's not much fucking better. But anyway, there's a scuffle. Ben gets his hands on the gun, shoots Harold. Harold stumbles down into the basement where his daughter is waiting. His zombie daughter. Yep. Helen ends up going down a little bit before or after that. I can't remember. But she ends up going over to Karen, who ends up shivving Helen with a knife and then devouring Helen. That's it. The zombies hit. Barbara and Helen get grabbed. Helen breaks free, runs down to the basement, finds Harold being eaten by young Karen, and then gets stuck and eaten by young Karen herself. There we go.
Shit buzz.
Unfortunately, while this is all going on, Barbara gets hauled out. That's it. She spots her own brother in the crowd, and that freaks her out. And in that moment, she gets hauled out and devoured. Ben ends up being the last person left in the house. Kind of manages to fight his way clear to the dawn. Over the course of the film, we've been told that you have a sheriff. I can't remember his name. But this boy is basically leading a posse around, taking out zombies, burning the bodies. It's during an interview with this guy, actually, that Romero makes a cameo appearance asking him questions about what the fuck they're doing and how the fuck they deal with the undead. I was wrong. Originally, I thought there was a different...
Sorry, say that again?
I was wrong. Yes, okay. I'm able to admit it. You know, I got the balls to actually stand up and admit when I'm wrong about something.
That's cool. It's just that recently it doesn't happen a lot in relation to the Gorecast.
Well, it's because I'm not wrong.
Occasionally.
If I'm wrong about something, I point it out. Anyway, my point is this.
That's very true, actually.
I always believed that the original ending for Night of the Living Dead was altered. That the original thing was basically you have Ben surviving. You have that the sheriff and his posse going around. They're like Ben actually only comes out because he hears the gunshots and thinks it's safe.
Yeah.
He kind of walks
zombies don't use guns.
Pretty much, yeah. He kind of walks over to the window. The film ends with Ben getting shot right between the eyes.
Lunky.
Now here's the thing. I actually mistakenly thought that there was an original ending whereby the posse realizes that Ben isn't a zombie but shoot him anyway because he's black.
It's 1968.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
as I said, which is why Ben looked worried when the two white lads came up from the basement with shotguns.
Yes and no.
Not my house, two white guys have shotguns.
To be perfectly honest, there's no real racial connotations. However, the way that the film ends does harken to the very...
Because he was kind of covered in blood and stuff though, wasn't he?
But no, it's not that. It's because the one black guy gets shot at the end of it. Don't forget, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, that was very recent.
So yes, that's true actually. Yeah.
So that was another resounding thing when it comes to social commentary, and another reason probably why I thought that the ending was a little bit different. Now that being said, in the remake it's completely fucking different.
Yeah.
The remake, Barbara escapes, is rescued by the sheriffs, and Ben has actually been bitten or something.
Barbara? Stop it. I can't help it.
Ben's actually been bitten or something over the course of the film. So at the end of it, he is actually zombified. So there is a legitimate reason for killing him. In the original, it's just the sheriff kind of looks and goes, "There's another one."
Come on.
And it's one in the eyes, and that's pretty much how the film ends. Now, the interesting thing about Night of the Living Dead is this: kids saw that film in the cinema.
They did,
and I mean young kids because there was no age rating.
You could just go to anything back then as long as it wasn't. Different cinema.
No, kids were used, and this film was shown as a Saturday matinee, which is the way that most horror movies go. You know, the effects at the time, the gore that was presented. Yeah, okay, it's a black and white movie, but you still get just the pacing.
Black and white or not, it's still very
visceral.
Very visceral, and you, like when they even claustrophobic at times, the way they do it, especially when all the zombies are kind of hitting the house, and
that's the tension that's built up, and that's part of the reason why. It was a slap in the face, in a way, to the audiences. It's a case of, wake up, bitches!
There's the living dead here!
This is the terror that it could be. This is the fear that we can't do. you probably shouldn't have brought your kid to this, because these people just got burnt alive, and now their remains are being
Prepare to have many sleepless nights with your child
Yeah.
for the next couple of months.
Yeah.
Years. Yes, that's right.
To be perfectly honest, most of the critique for the film, once again, was in regards to the effects that were being used. Just because, as always, it was an eye-opener, a wake-up call for cinema-going audiences. And it really did open the notion that here is this entity which, for all intents and purposes, is humanity.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's one of the interesting things, and always has been.
It's all people you know.
Well, yeah, it's always been one of the main points of a zombie movie is that 1 minute you're fighting alongside a guy, the next minute you're driving a spike into his head, whether or not he deserves it, but because he's undead, and it's necessary at the time. And this was the first real film to awaken audiences to that notion, and to be fair, to awaken other filmmakers to that notion as well. As I said, Romero going on to do The Dawn of the Dead, and then Day of the Dead, and his partner in it, who had the rights to the Living Dead name.
Yeah. So it was after what's the one with the graveyard? Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. After that one, it was the Sexy Graveyard Dance.
See, that's what I was getting to.
Yeah.
They did the names after Night of the Living Dead. Yeah. Romero and the other guy whose name
they had a falling out. They split the franchise.
And Romero went off and did his Of the Dead films.
Yeah.
Whereas the other guy later on wouldn't do it until like the 80s.
Yeah.
Would come along with Return of the Living Dead.
Yeah. Well, your man Romero wanted to go on and did one. Your man had won a court case that basically he owned the copyright to The Living Dead. Yeah. So that's why Romero changed everything to The Dead. Yeah, they just dropped The Living.
Yeah, it really didn't make a difference. Because
zombies are zombies.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, a lot of people, myself included, see Night of the Living Dead as being the start of the Romero zombie movies. And for more than just the fact that it was him that made it, because it was the first time that they were used properly as that microcosm that I described.
Will we cut to the trailer and let them see the trailer from...
Yeah, why not? Rock on.
Yeah, that's good. I have to bring it in here now because we... Keep talking there for a minute.
Perils of going live.
Yeah, disadvantages of going live. I haven't done the Gorecast live in a while outside of an interview capacity, so by next week it'll be all honed down. I'm working out the kinks here at the moment. So you can keep chatting away just for 2 seconds. It'll take a sec to...
Well, as I said, for anyone that hasn't seen Night of the Living Dead, I can't really say that it's... Well, it's in... The original is obviously going to be in black and white, so it's obviously going to be aged, but there is a colorized version that was done in 2004, which is available on YouTube. There's also the 1990 remake, which I stated before, with Tony Todd as Ben and Patricia Tallman as Barbara. That, though, as I said, the story, there's aspects of that are changed. Barbara's escape and Ben's...
unfortunate demise. Well, he has an unfortunate demise anyway.
I was going to say
the change of
Ben's fate.
Yeah.
But meanwhile...
We'll hit the trailer and let them take a quick look at the trailer, and then we'll come back to you and we'll talk a little bit more about zombies.
Yeah, another one.
Welcome to a night of total terror. Night of the living dead. The dead who live on living flesh. The dead whose haunted souls hunt the living. The living whose bodies are the only food for these ungodly creatures. Night of the living dead. A bizarre adventure in fear. An experience in shock, more shattering than your strangest nightmare. Night of the living dead. A night with the dead who cannot die. A night of total terror. Night of the living dead.
And we're back. So that's Night of the Living Dead. So you kind of get a bit of a gist for it there, as to what's going on. And then they did a recolorized version in like 1970.
No, they did the colorized version in 2004.
That says 1978 there.
No, it says 1968 because that's when the movie was made.
Oh, okay.
The
Right.
colorized version didn't come along until 2004. Actually, funnily enough, there was there was a 30th anniversary edition that had I have it at home, but I didn't realize until doing a bit of research that it's I had it at home because I thought it had that ending that I was mistaken about.
Yeah.
But as it turns out, it's actually kind of a re-editing of the film with a few extra scenes and bits and pieces stuck in. People that were in the original actually came back. That zombie at the start of it, I think he came back and reshot one or two bits and pieces, and just slightly different theme, different music for one thing. But no, yeah, there's been a couple of different. There was an animated version of Night of the Living Dead. It's called Night of the Living Dead Reanimated.
What?
Yeah, and I think it's actually the
So
original.
that's current enough, is it?
I fucking can't remember, but I think it's actually the original
Story?
the original audio, just with different animation for different scenes. But
3D reanimation, HD, 2D.
no, that's not it. This is
Oh, there you go. Night of the Living Dead reanimated.
Yeah.
2009.
yeah, that sounds right.
Is that it?
I don't know. I haven't seen it. Just because I know something doesn't
Oh, yeah.
mean I know it.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's a bit weird though, 'cause that looks like the actual.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Over 100 artists. Might end on the trailer to that later.
Yeah.
I suppose that's pretty much Night of the Living Dead all rounded up, is it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Right. Do you want to? Will we do? Do I do the indie movie first, or do you want to?
I'd rather save that for last, just because there is a link in between Night of the Living Dead and the next film we're looking at.
Okay. Next film we're looking at being Zombie Flesh Eaters.
Sorry, but I have a person. It's one of those films that I heard about years ago, just because there's one scene in it that like was one of the major scenes that was cut from the film, and so I always wanted to see just that one scene.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was worth it. It was done well, like, you know. But yeah, Zombie Flesh Eaters was made in. Oh fuck me, I can't remember.
I'm the wrong guy to talk to anyway. There was Zombie Flesh Eaters, so people can get the gist
I
from
want to say 81, but I'm feeling I might be wrong. Basically,
I'll check it up here when you do that. I'm like
Zombie
the
Flesh Eaters
R&D
was
department.
Zombie Flesh Eaters was originally written not by Romero but by somebody else as a possible sequel to Dawn of the Dead. Now, the reason for this being that Dawn of the Dead
79. No, that's Zombie. Sorry,
no,
Zombie Flesh Eaters.
but zombie film series. There, Zombie 2. That's it. This is what. Yeah,
Okay,
that's it.
there you go.
My point being that it was written as the kind of like a sequel for Dawn of the Dead, which had been released originally as Zombie in certain European countries, mainly Italy.
Oh yes, yes.
Now, the interesting thing is, at the time, Italy had this law whereby you could do a film and stick the number 2 on it, and it could be called the sequel of whatever the fuck film you wanted.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Yeah.
So as a result of the re-edited or whatever version of Dawn of the Dead that came out that was called Zombie, it meant that they could basically write a film and, you know, from the premise that this is going to be the sequel to this and it's going to be called Zombie 2.
Big franchise I can think that worked that way as well was like the Krampus series was basically, it's like 20 million different movies all by different production companies, but it's Krampus. Insert different tagline here. Different movie completely.
But yeah, as I said, originally done to be kind of Zombie 2, which is what it's still called in certain places. And then it
Lucio
got a-
Fulci, the director, if
Yeah.
memory serves me correctly.
Basically, if you're a fan of spaghetti westerns, think of this as being a spaghetti horror, in that the that kind of dubbed over feeling is very much there. You know, people are clearly speaking English, but there's like some other dubbing done over it, whether or not it's actually their original voices in some places. But the film starts off with a boat, basically. Oh well, actually, the film starts off with what appears to be a corpse rising from a bed, and this shadowy figure in a doorway putting a bullet in it and saying, "You can tell the others that they can take off with the boat." Said boat is then seen arriving into, I think it might be in New York Harbor, certainly an American harbor. Harbor Patrol comes out with their leather-clad policemen. They go on board the boat. The boat's abandoned, basically. Various different bits and pieces strewn around it. One cop goes to check down below and opens a door and is confronted by a great big shambling corpse, which then proceeds to fucking eat him.
Eat him, as the zombies are known to do.
Yeah, he screams, his partner comes down, starts putting bullets. Eventually, the zombie works its way up through the stairs. Awful lot of bullets get put into that zombie, and it's not really so much dead as forced over the bow of the ship.
No headshots.
Yeah.
They could take a bullet in the chest like a champ.
Yeah. So the law boys pull the boat in and find that it's owned by a Dr. Barrett? Can't remember. It's unimportant. Well, it is, because I remember the name of the daughter, and she's actually in the fucking film. Anyway, the law boys get the name. The law boys find out who this boat is addressed to, or belonging to, find the letter on board, scroll down a bit. Bowls, that's it.
There you go.
Yeah, I knew it was unimportant. There's a letter on board addressed to the daughter. The letter basically explains that Dr. Bowles was on an island with Dr. Maynard. This island called Matal, that's it, Matal. He'd been visiting this island Matal where Dr. Maynard is. Things went sideways, there was an infection, he's been infected, blah, blah, blah. Now, the law wants to know exactly what the hell the doctor was up to. The daughter, understandably, hasn't got a fucking clue and is rather harshly questioned at times. Meanwhile, reporter Peter West is informed by his boss that a boat has just come in and into the harbour. There's been shooting, there's been corpses, there's all kind of madness. Get your ass down and check it out.
We got a dead cop, we got a live cop, and we got a thing that's gone flying over the bow.
Yeah.
Or is it?
Yeah. So, after being questioned by the law and after discovering this letter from her father, Anne decides to sneak onto the boat to figure out what the fuck. Oh no, that was it. After being questioned by the law, Anne sneaks onto the boat. Finds Peter inside, who basically is hiding in there. Peter has the letter. Anne reads it, finds out the truth. A cop hears them stumbling around because they're idiots, comes down. Peter comes up with the brilliant ploy of, well, let's just go into the bedroom and blah. So the usual, oh, well, I tricked her into coming down, and they're told to get the fuck off the boat. Peter agrees to...
Peter Piper.
What? No,
I'm just joking.
Yeah. Peter agrees to go with Anne and try and discover the island of Matal, which is supposed to be off the coast of Cuba. Cuba. Yes, it's definitely Cuba. Actually, now that I remember the cab ride in, where this Cuban guy agrees to take them down to a waterfront where they can rent out a boat from, Brian and Susan, this couple that's basically going to be boating around the islands. So they go down, and Brian and Susan agree to take them on. They're a little bit apprehensive when they mention the island of Matal because it's known to be a place that you don't want to go fucking with. People generally don't visit it.
It's very aptly put. Yeah.
Now, they're going to be going on this tour. It's going to take them a couple of weeks, so they get all the extra supplies and, they take off in the boat. After a few days at sea, basically, they come to an area that they think is pretty close to the island. Don't forget, this thing, it's not so much on a map. They just have a rough idea of where it is based on the letter that Anne had received and all the rest of it. So Susan, as she's being a marine photographer, decides she's going to go for a swim and get some decent pictures because the sea is nice and calm. It looks like it's good conditions. So off she goes, and she, swimming around. It's all good in the hood until a shark comes along, which she manages to deftly avoid. The shark goes right. That's cool. And then a hand grabs onto her, at which point she turns around and there's a zombie in the water, going for her. Now, what happens next? I should probably do a bit of research. Should have probably done a bit of research. One can only assume at the time that the film was made that it is pretty much what you see, and therefore I'm sure a shit ton of safety laws were broken, as basically a shark and a zombie get into a fight underwater. Fair dues to the stunt diver, because like there's no tanks or nothing, and it must, like the way the thing's moving, the shark I'm pretty sure is real.
This is like pre-Jaws and everything, isn't it?
79? No, it's after Jaws.
Jaws was probably a fake shark.
Yeah. No.
Definitely a real shark?
I'm not 100%, but the way it was moving. And I doubt they had the fucking budget for a proper fake one. It's not mentioned, I checked it. No, whether or not it's a real shark. Anyway, the point is, fuck it. Fuck the shark. The point is, the shark bits off. Shark takes off from the zombie's arm, swims off, giving Susan the chance to get back to the boat, where she is suitably freaked the fuck out.
Because I don't know if you tried swimming with one arm, it can be quite difficult.
Yeah.
Especially while on there.
He wasn't swimming, he was walking.
Underwater?
Yeah. Cue the island, where we're shown Dr. Maynard, who is studying this rather peculiar circumstance of the dead getting the fuck back up.
Yeah.
His wife Paula is understandably distraught and wants to get the fuck off the island. She's freaking the bean, and the doctor's having none of it because he's researching shit.
Yeah, which kind of understandable on Paula's part.
Yeah. The doctor has himself an entire hospital full of people that are basically sick and dying from this thing. You find out that it all started a few days previously when one woman reported seeing her very much dead husband walking around the place, and it was kind of freaky. Yeah.
Which occasionally happens down around there.
Yeah. An associate, and apparently the last white guy on the island, this German dude, is sick. He's after contracting this stuff. The doctor is looking in on him. Unfortunately, he dies. Doctor ends up having to put a bullet in the German lad's head, and when burying the body with his local assistant and his very cute and, I have to say, very calm under fire nurse.
Yeah, she's pretty...
she's professional. She's
battle hardy.
Yeah. We get a little bit of backstory from the local lad about how the locals figure it's a curse. Most of the villagers have fucked off to an opposite side of the island, and you get voodoo drums being played, and this is to kind of counteract the spell. As I mentioned in the voodoo episode, a lot of this stuff, will you stop fucking moving? That is confusing.
Sorry.
A lot of this stuff basically...
people can't see it.
People can't. I fucking can. A lot of the voodoo is not about badness, it's about protection, and that's what they're trying to do. While the doctor is burying his associate, they hear gunfire, because basically the shark that Susan had gotten away from had attacked the boat and had done a bit of damage, damaging the engine. So they're drifting close to shore, but they're going to need to repair stuff. So Brian figures that the only thing they can do, since there isn't going to be a parts shop on the other side of the island, is to blast off a flare and hopefully somebody sees it. So the doc and your man, his assistant, see the flares and they go off. They find him. They bring him off the boat. And as they're driving along, Maynard explains that he does know Anne's father. He, Dr. Urian Bowles was a friend of Maynard's. He'd come to the island. He explains that the doctor got sick. He explains that there was no way of helping him. And eventually, he got on the boat and tried to leave. No, they didn't get on the boat. I can't remember. Maynard brings him to the hospital. And while there is informed... it's a bad day. He doesn't want to bring the people in around the place. He asks them instead to go to his house, check out on his wife. They can chill there. He'll talk to them then. So the group borrows the doctor's jeep, goes to check in on the wife. Now, while all this is happening, one of those scenes that I mentioned, in fact, the scene that I mentioned that was cut out, takes place, wherein the wife is attacked at the house. A zombie gets in. And one of the most infamous scenes in the film is whereby Paula is behind a wooden... It's a door, but with those old kind of like wooden slats on the front of it.
Oh, yeah.
A hand breaks through, grabs onto her by the back of the head, and pulls her closer and closer to the spike of wood sticking out.
Oh, lovely. I love when they do that.
Now here's the thing. Censored version comes close, cut away. I got myself the uncensored version.
Closer.
Straight through the eye.
Too close.
Oh no, not too close. I mean, it's very well done. It is.
Nearly punched my phenomenally expensive computer
It
there.
was grand. So, needless to say, when our intrepid morons arrive at the house, they run into, well, something they weren't expecting. Doors are wide open. They make their way into the sitting room, whereby there's a lovely little picnic going on. Picnic of the undead!
I was going to say, what are they having at their picnic?
Paula. They are eating Paula, and not in the fun, sexy way.
Powdridges?
Well, it's not so much Powdridges as
Paula buffet?
Yes. Actually, it's definitely finger food.
Okay.
Like being ripped out.
Yeah.
They try to back out of the house. Unfortunately, the house is littered with zombies, so they have to kind of like fight their way through. They get out, they get back into the Jeep, they are freaked the fuck out, they crash the Jeep because they're idiots. They end up having to stumble through the jungle.
It's kind of like a standard zombie movie incident to happen. We need to get out of here. Get the Jeep. We got the Jeep. Da! The Jeep's wrapped around a tree.
Yeah. Now, in the course of the tree getting wrapped around a tree, Peter fucks up his leg. I mean, not just like a little bit. It was clearly supposed to be the notion.
I can see the bone. I can see the bone.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's starting to smell like almonds. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
That's later on. It's mold. If it's almonds, then that means that it's.
That was actually from Austin Powers. I didn't realise.
If it smells like cheese, you're fucked.
It's starting to smell like almonds.
If it smells like almonds, you've been poisoned with cyanide.
Yes.
Is it cyanide as almonds?
You're saying too much on camera. It's called incrimination.
Or is it arsenic?
It's neither. Continue.
It's science. Go fuck yourself.
Fuck you, science.
They go stumbling through the jungle, and basically, as they're doing this, like I said, the villagers, they're all freaked out. So, as they're stumbling through the jungle, you get this progressively louder and louder drum beats going. Now, Peter's leg is mangangled, as I said, so they need to kind of rest up every now and then. Unfortunately,
The zombies are pretty spry.
No, they decide to rest up on the old conquistador burial ground.
Yeah.
The conquistadors, by the way, that are probably the cause for this little undead resurrection spell.
Conquistadors who were cursed as shit.
Yeah.
And have been coming up out of their little conquistador graveyard.
Once again, safety notices, because I'm pretty sure people were like holding their breath, because like the way that they come out is like proper through the ground. I reckon shallow graves all around, maybe little straws. Peter and Anne are chilling, and literally, because they've got this romance thing building up, and just as they're about to get to it, a hand comes up and grabs onto Anne by the hair. And
God damn it, Anne.
Yeah, she freaks out.
First the boat.
What?
First the boat.
No, that was Susan.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Sorry.
She freaks out. Brian comes to help them out because they had a gun. Can't remember how they had a gun, but they had a gun. Brian comes to help her out, leaving the door open for his missus to get herself chomped by a conquistador zombie. So they managed to...
Hola.
Yep.
Haha.
So they managed to come back in time to see her getting chomped, and Brian, understandably pissed off, and dashes in the brains of said zombie with the end of the rifle. They eventually make their way back to the hospital, where things have been getting progressively worse and worse. Dr. Maynard has slipped into, well, he's not really slipped into, but he's taken to the booze a little bit heavily. He's, all hope is gone. Fucking, fuckity, fuck.
If I'm going out, I'm not going out sober.
Yeah, something like that. He's still trying to find a cure. We see him taking samples of his own blood, and I imagine mixing it with infected blood samples. You get a couple of different stories from a couple of different patients, bits and pieces. Eventually, the Scooby gang, or what's left of them, make their way back to the hospital, pursued not just by the undead, but now by the rising numbers of the undead caused by the villagers whose zombie voodoo drums don't really appear to have any effect on stopping the undead, and who I'm guessing were probably chomped and now have joined the ranks. They eventually get...
The thing with zombies as well, you're able to replenish your lack of soldiers very quickly.
Yeah, they're a bit of a plague, all right. Eventually, our intrepid idiots make their way back. I'm sorry, I have the were just pure.
Oh, they're looking for it.
Yeah, pretty much. They make their way back.
Your wife's dead, or your girlfriend. I totally get why you want to die.
Yeah, they make their way back to the house, back to the hospital. The doctor eventually lets them in. They barricade themselves inside, and they start barricading up the place. The doctor's assistant gets bitten at this stage. I can't remember if the nurse is dead or not. The assistant would end up biting the doctor himself.
Oh no, she had moxie.
Yeah, she did. She hung on there till the end.
She's a scrapper.
Yeah. Over the course of they tried. There's a couple. So they tried to get out the I don't want to say the rear entrance because it leaves obvious openings for obvious openings.
I'm saying what?
They tried to get out the back door. Unfortunately, that too is hemmed in with the undead, and I think Brian ends up getting bitten.
Would it be safe to say that they were kind of plugged in?
I don't know if it would be safe to say, but it could be somewhat accurate because they're certainly arse fucked.
Oh my god.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Over the course of the hospital attack, the doc gets bitten, Brian gets bitten, everything gets set on fire, because that seems to be the solution that Anne comes up with.
Burn them all.
Yeah, it is actually rather cool. Actually, I think it's Brian's solution to burn them all, and actually accidentally instigates it, though. There was a plan. I don't think the plan comes off.
As long as fire happens.
Yeah, fire definitely happens.
Yeah.
Brian and Anne make it back to the boat, or a boat, is fixed. Huh. Maybe they got the part and they fixed it. Anyway, the film more or less ends with them going out to sea. Brian's bit, he knows he's bit, but they're going to basically take him back and use him as evidence, kind of prove all this craziness fucking happens and all the rest of it. There's one small problem with that. They've locked Brian up, that's cool, but as they get closer and closer, as they get back to the American mainland, they start picking up radio signals, and this is where the tie-in to Dawn of the Dead comes in, I suppose, because the radio signals are going on about how the dead have come back to life, the only way to stop them is a bullet in the head. So the film ends somewhat the way it begins, with a boat drifting into a harbour. Admittedly, there's 2 people on it.
Yeah.
There's still very much a fucking undead corpse locked up in it.
Yeah, he's been chomping there the whole way through.
Yeah. Now, Zombie Flesh Eaters, as far as I'm concerned, ranks in there fairly well in the non-Romero zombie movies.
Yeah.
Especially for the early entrant that it is being made in... Can you just scroll up on that thing for just a...
79.
Ah, yes, 79, sorry, I forgot.
Yeah.
Especially for the early entrant that it is in 79. It goes its own way. It does...
Before the rules of zombies were written.
Well, no,
officially.
To be fair, it takes the Haitian... It takes the voodoo approach to it. The zombies themselves are caused by a Cuban curse in this case, not Haitian. That
voodoo curse.
Yeah, voodoo. Yeah. That curse going back to the conquistador days and kind of a vengeance bit.
Probably, I would imagine, because they showed up on their island, killed all the people that lived there, and did what the conquistadors were known to do.
Yeah. What's cool is the fact that they do the scientific approach as well.
History in the Gorecast there as well for you just learning.
What's cool is to do the scientific approach as well. You have Doc Maynard. I mean, the whole reason he's there is to try and scientifically figure out what the fuck and hopefully get a cure for it.
Yeah, epic fail.
Epic fail.
Yeah.
As I said, Zombie Flesh Eaters, released in Italy and Europe as Zombie 2, is one of those films that did get a lot of cuts made to it. Most infamously that eyeball scene, but I'm pretty sure that picnic was probably not as gruesome as the version that I have. A couple other bits and pieces. Overall, I think for anyone that is a fan of zombie movies, it's definitely worth seeing. For anyone that's a fan of the zombie genre, of the horror genre, it's definitely worth seeing. It is a spaghetti horror in that you have that kind of similar dubbing from spaghetti westerns over it, so that kind of adds a bit of surrealism, I think, at times, because everything's in sync, don't get me wrong, but it's just, you're kind of looking, kind of going, is that actually his voice? Because some of them, they've gone back and they've dubbed their own voices.
Yeah.
Once again, it's
it was like the sound recording gear and everything wasn't as like back in those days. The sound recording gear wasn't as up to scratch as it would be now, and quite frequently there's background noise, there's other stuff going on, so they'd shoot the scenes and then the audio track from those were used as the bass track, and then they get the guys to come in and do a thing called ADR, which is audio dialogue replacement, where they basically get them to read the lines back over.
Yeah. But as I said, that tends to add a certain...
Another little lesson from the Gorecast.
Yeah. It tends to add a certain amount of surrealism, I think, to certain...
yeah.
But, I mean, like, all in all, most of the zombie movies that you get nowadays, you watch them and you're thinking, oh, I've seen all this before. Zombie Flesh Eaters is one of those instances where you're going to be watching thinking, I've seen all this before, and then you're going to have to stop and think, wait, I've seen all this before because people are ripping this off. Now, admittedly, as I said, kind of made to be a sequel to a re-edited version of Dawn of the Dead. But even still, as its own, as Zombie Flesh Eaters, I think very much stands up and is very, very much slotted into any zombie movie marathon. Unless you're doing a Romero-specific one. Which, by the way, just to let you know, the reason we only stuck with Night of the Living Dead...
Just did a tippy-toppy across them.
...is because Romero's things are so vast that we figured they're going to warrant...
He deserved to show himself.
Which we're going to get to.
We will get to. Probably...
in the next few weeks more.
It'll be later down the road, because we did a zombie bite size, which you'll see a link in the description below. Check that out.
Whereby I vehemently voice my opinions on certain TV shows.
And I also have a popular opinion of the same opinion voiced on TV shows.
Yeah.
The slow Walking Dead.
No, the masochistic.
The masochistic Walking Dead.
Fucking masochistic.
Or if it's season 2, Farmhouse Friends.
Well, as I said, I mean, that kind of, like...
It came out of the comic. It was substantially less interesting. They in the comic book, did an entire TV season on the farm.
In the comic book, fucking Shane only lasted 2 issues.
Yeah, I know that. That's also...
Anyway, we're not talking about that crap.
Dirty wife banger.
We're not talking about that. We're talking about Zombie Flesh Eaters and the fact you should go watch it!
You should most certainly go watch it.
Yes.
And also, make sure to go watch Night of the Living... Night of the Living Dead as well, because it's...
The pinnacle and the start.
It's the pinnacle and the start. That was the first movies where the zombies were zombies as we know today, not voodoo possessed undead.
Well, I mean, the modern zombie film, they've got their pick of what they're going to draw their inspiration from.
Yeah.
Scientific experiment, fucking whatever.
Yeah.
But have we got a trailer for Zombie Flesh Eaters?
Zombie Flesh Eaters, we do, because we're on the internet.
Cool. I suppose we might as well stick on the trailer for that. And
would make total sense. We'll stick on the trailer for that. Then we will come back and we'll talk a little bit about the movie that the beautiful people over at have given us, which
we were pleasantly surprised.
Pleasantly surprised. Not that, actually, I've been relatively happy with all of the quality of stuff we've got from I Bleed Indie anyway, but this was
fun.
It's as a horror movie itself, it's not the best horror movie, but it's feckin' enjoyable as an overall. But we'll get more into that after Zombie Flesh Eaters. Zombie Nation. Oh, that's on music.
I feel perfect.
Ahoy there! This is the Harbor Patrol. Anyone on board?
Yes, she looks abandoned.
Is there something big?
That's just what we'd like to know.
One more step and I'm gonna blast you. Now freeze where you are!
Yes, it's my father's boat.
And how long since you last spoke to him?
Well, we have to go to Matul. We're trying to locate Anne's father. She hasn't heard from him for some time.
It's not a cool place to hit. Natives claim it's cursed. They're reported like the plague.
I'm going to tell everyone that you're the one who's crazy. Demented, cruel, evil. What exactly did my father die of, Dr. Minard? And the boat's crew, what happened to them?
What's about the dead coming back to life again and having to be killed a second time?
Voodoo's just superstitious horseshit.
Now, whatever it is, it makes the dead stand up and walk. I've seen it with my own eyes.
My father always said, when the earth spit out the dead, they will come back to suck the blood from the living.
I'm so scared we're not going to make it off this island.
They're coming back to life. They're everywhere.
Whatever it is, it makes the dead stand up and walk.
And we're back. Some slight improv over the trailer there. Couldn't help myself. Sorry.
Fuck it. Bored. I was actually kind of surprised. It's been a while since I saw the trailer. I didn't realise that there would be, well, for one thing, into the bit of wood.
Yeah, that was yeah. Well, if I can't get it in the movie, I'll shove it in the trailer. My God damn it!
Wow.
I don't get why the boobies were cut out and the eyeball was allowed to be in of the trailer.
For the same reason that, you know what?
So, back from Zombie Flesh Eaters and hitting into the last leg of the show, we have yet another horror.
Well, comedy.
Comedy horror, yeah. I don't know, is it intentionally supposed to be a comedy horror? But
it's definitely. Dude, are you kidding? Everything about that is definitely supposed to be an intentional fucking... I mean, the entire thing is an 80s throwback that doesn't...
The actual throwback to the 80s is done very well.
You need to understand, right? This could have been done so badly if they had just taken themselves too fucking seriously.
It could have been a shitfest.
But they didn't!
No.
So it was awesome!
It's absolutely amazing.
I would dare say that this film is a contemporary to anything the Trauma would kick out. Just in that kind of...
there was a real trauma vibe off it, yeah.
In that kind of quirky comedy fucking thing. Now, you need to understand, the reason that we're reviewing this film is because while the name may not say it, zombies are in it. They just happen to be kind of the henchmen.
Yeah. They do the predominant amount of killing.
Actually, to be perfectly honest, the name does kind of imply the zombies. The film in question is called Frankenstein's Hungry Dead.
And they are hungry.
Yep. And follows the adventures of Charles Frankenstein?
Charles Frankenstein, who is Victor Frankenstein's...
Great-great-grandson.
Great-great-great-great-grandson. Who's also a Nazi.
No, he was just buds with Hitler.
Buds with Hitler, his brother.
It's Hitler, you fucking baboon!
I love that line so much.
That was actually in it. It's brilliant.
They break into a room in the middle of the movie and there's a picture of Charles and Hitler standing beside each other. She's like, there's a photo of your man and his brother or something. And the intelligent nerdy girl's like, that's Hitler, you baboon! Oh, it's just comedy timing at its finest. Absolutely fantastic.
To get down to business, the film starts with one moron breaking into a place with a can of spray paint and basically getting hauled off into a secret corridor at said place, screaming like the little whingy bitch that he is.
Yeah. He's gone in to somewhere he's not supposed to be to do a little bit of spray painting, because that's what the kids in the 80s like doing.
That's what kids in a lot of eras like doing.
Yeah, I know, yeah. I'm just trying to keep it in the 80s.
Yeah.
The 80s.
Well, I think the music throughout the entire thing kind of does that.
Yes,
Not to mention
and the also
wardrobe.
similar overdubbing of the voice.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
There was a certain amount. You're wearing the white Adidas top and a red headband. Dave's watching the wrong video. That's why he's commenting on very weird things.
He's watching the
Halloween
thing.
Oh, he's watching the pitch. Dave is watching the Pitchfork interview. Dave is watching the Pitchfork interview. So we're going to take a brief stop here because
What?
Dave will eventually... No. Dave will eventually get back to watching this episode.
But let him get back. I'm rolling
We
on.
will, no, I'm weeks down the line. So when he does watch it, I want to point out that Dave currently
you're
at the
watching the
time you were
wrong
watching
episode.
the wrong episode.
Just
That
let you know,
wasn't...
buddy.
He was like, it's very Halloween themed. And I was like, what are you on about? Yeah, it's because it's actually Halloween themed. That's why. That makes total sense. You should check that interview out as well, actually. That was a really fun interview.
Yeah.
I was dressed like Chuck Norris.
I wasn't.
He was not.
Anyway, getting back to this week's episode.
Yes, perfect.
So, as I said, film starts with one guy going in to do something he shouldn't be doing and gets grabbed and hauled through a secret entrance.
Yeah.
Then we cut to...
In the good old-fashioned horror, I'm on my face! Gone. Frankenstein's hungry dead.
Now, while this is going on, we see this chick having kind of like nightmares in her sleep about this stuff happening.
She's having a wobbler, all right, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm cue to the next morning, whereby you have a teacher ticked off because it's like you get a Breakfast Club vibe, you know. You scumbags are here because blah, 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 blah. So you have, let's see, what do we got? You got the two gay guys.
Yeah.
And your man is sick of their, what did he call it?
Faggotry.
Yeah, but he called it something else, cowardly faggotry or something like that.
I was just like, Jesus Christ, faggotry.
Yeah.
It was before they even left. It was the teacher.
Yeah,
the teacher
that's
was
what I
like,
said.
I'm sick of you two and your faggotry.
As I said, it's the 80s. Yeah.
I know it's the 80s. Yeah,
So
yeah.
you got the two gay guys. You got the nympho. You got jock boyfriend.
They all have names. We're just breaking them down into their core stigma groups.
Their character is how
And by God, is she a nympho?
Yeah, I like
But
it.
I wouldn't call her a nympho. She's a dirty bee, though.
Dude, there is a line that I will repeat later on that pretty much says it all involving her childhood.
Doesn't make her a nympho. That makes her a dirty bee.
Anyway, there's the nympho, there's the jock, there's the metal chick, and there's the nerd girl who is cuter than, like, you know. I was saying that from the start, that she was cute. But
Anyway,
anyway,
her girl. Yeah, well, she's nice.
Yeah.
She's a lovely lady.
anyway,
I wouldn't say no.
Yeah, her and the metal chick especially, and the nympho. Yeah, you know what? All three of the women.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, the teacher is sick of all of their shite and is bringing them on the tour of this wax museum in order to bore/educate them.
Jamie Lynn Bagley, I think. Plays her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so they go to this tour, which is basically a wax museum of horror.
Yeah.
Horror movies, particularly. I mean, there's some awesome stuff in there. There's like Peter Cushing. There's
You've got werewolves. You've got some cool looking.
Christopher Lee.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they're brought on this tour, which is done by tour director Charles. The kids, being kids, aren't really fucking, you know, they're taking the piss and all the rest of it. The nympho basically says to the jock, I want to come back here later on and have sex in here because this is the line, I always wanted to have sex in a wax museum ever since I was a little girl.
Oh,
Okay.
she's amazing. I love it.
Yeah, yeah. And able to fight too a couple of times. She
She
impressed us with right crosses to people's throats.
Yeah, zombies, zero fear did she have. Literally just.
Yeah, but
Ah!
we'll get to that later.
That was a big punch. Whoops.
So the nympho and the jock decide they're going to break into the wax museum later on. And well, basically, to put it quite simply, the gay lads, the metal chick, and the metal chick's English fella Vermin. He's the only name I remember.
Hermes kind of like
I'm wrong. He's
punk
not the-
rock band or something like that.
Yeah, it's like his name or something like that.
Jesse Dufault is the actor. I went and I learned things.
Yeah, whatever. So they basically break into the museum as well in order to quite simply fuck with the nympho and the...
Yeah. There's a great
Jock.
scene with her father as he's what was the line about him being just basically a drunk asshole? I can't remember now. It was a brilliant line. She absolutely.
That's when the nympho was leaving her house.
Yes, she stormed out of the house. She absolutely just buries the dad with one line. What you say? What you say?
Yeah.
Love it.
But anyway, they get to the wax museum and the nympho's rubbing all up on Jock, and then they get scared witless by
they see one of the wax
it's Vermin.
statues move.
Yeah,
It's Vermin standing there.
and they've never seen him before.
Yeah, because it's the
And
kind of rocker chick for the class's boyfriend.
Yeah, the Jock goes over and starts fucking poking him, and he makes a move, and the others are there with masks, and they freak him out and all the rest of it. And it's like, why are you here? Well, we knew you were breaking in. But, how did you know we were breaking in? Well, you were pretty fucking loud about the fact that you wanted to come in here shagging. I still do. So the nympho grabs the fucking the Jock, and they go off, and they go shagging in a coffin. I thought it was pretty.
That's what she wanted. It wasn't that she wanted to shag in a wax museum.
It was that she wanted to shag in a wax museum.
in a coffin.
No, she says the wax museum.
She wanted to shag in. That's such specifically weird.
Yeah, I know.
That's
I kind of like it.
Super specifically weird. That's actually even weirder now than the coffin thing. I picked it up as she wanted to F in a coffin.
No, that was just it happened to be the coffin.
She wanted to get F'd in the sea.
Anyway, unfortunately, the coffin that they're shagging in happens to be by the front entrance. Oh, I forgot to mention, Nerd Girl turns up with these posters about her friend, the guy,
the boyfriend guy. Yeah,
well, it's not her boyfriend. She was crushing on him or whatever. So she gets the piss taken out of her by the fucking nympho chick. Yeah, by
everyone literally, like Vermin.
Yeah. Well, no, and he doesn't bother. Anyway,
rocker chick's flags out.
People can't leave because nympho and fucking Jock are shagging in a coffin near the front of the fucking place.
Yeah.
Until eventually Metal Chick and Vermin get sick of this shit and... What did they do? Did they throw something at him or fucking start screaming at him or something like that?
The rocker chick and Vermin are literally just on a chair beside the coffin making out with each other.
No, they do something to distract nympho and your men.
They were just making a load of noise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
While all this is going on, we get cuts to Dr. Frankenstein.
Charlie.
And at one point, he's head of the former assistant Fritz.
Having a chat.
Fritz, who apparently got accidentally blown up by Frankenstein. But hey, at least Frankenstein went along and brought him back this far. Over the course of the film, we learned that Charles Frankenstein is, as I said, the descendant of the actual original Frankenstein. We learned that Mary Shelley was merely the family's biographer.
Yes. I liked that little bit of backstory, actually.
Yeah. Charles had himself a missus. I can't remember if the missus died or not, but basically he's ended up bringing her back to life. I don't want to say it. No.
He kind of killed her first.
Did he? I can't remember.
He said that I love you alive, but you're more used to me dead.
Oh,
quote unquote.
I thought she died in the same instance as Fritz.
He was very much behind a lot of it.
Yeah. Now, you find out that Charles has these, I want to say henchman pets things. Basically, he's got a shit ton of zombies, which he's failed.
Not your conventional zombies; they're kind of botched.
Well, he's failed experiments into reanimation have brought forth. You know, they work, but they're not the way they're supposed to work.
Yeah.
So, you know, he's, as I said, over the course of the film, you find out about these things.
It's around this stage now that the teacher, for some reason, has managed to suss that they're all riding in the fucking wax museum as well.
Well, maybe it's the fact that the nympho was fucking loud about it.
Yeah, she was not remotely subtle.
Yeah. So as Nerd Girl is going to leave, she spots the teacher and the teacher's dumbass girlfriend.
Oh, she's so...
In a car.
Hey, have you seen my boyfriend? I want my boyfriend. Have you seen my boyfriend?
Anyway,
that's literally the voice.
Yeah. Anyway, they decide to kind of go and hide because he's on his way into the place to fuck them out of it. He doesn't last very long because Charles is on the prowl because he takes the gay couple first, doesn't he?
No, it's...
yeah, he does.
No, it's not the gay couple first. The first one to go is Nympho's boyfriend.
No.
No, it's Nympho's boyfriend goes...
No, it's the
Nympho's boyfriend goes first.
Sticks out till near the end of it. He lasts longer. Oh, Nympho's boyfriend.
Nympho's boyfriend. Vermin hangs out till nearly the end of it. Yeah. Nympho's boyfriend gets axed first. Then there's the gay couple are pounding each other. And it's basically the nympho couple are doing their thing in the coffin. Then the rest of the bunch of kids are so distracting that it just puts them off their stride, I suppose. She gets off in a right fucking huff. Then they go off to another room to try and finish the job. Then something happened that distracts her. And then she leaves the room, and then Frankenstein...
He pissed her off.
Yeah. He said something, and she just left.
Yeah.
And then Frankenstein just...
whacks her man.
Yeah, whacks her man. Over the head, isn't it? Something like that.
Yeah. As I said, the teacher comes in. They're all hidden. No sign of the fucking... The jock guy, because he's been got.
Got.
Charles is on the prowl at this stage. He's undead have been released, and he's basically using them to clean up messes.
Yeah.
The teacher's grabbed, hauled off. Nerd Girl is trying to track down the gay couple. Unfortunately, the gay couple think the Nerd Girl is there. It's not actually her. Turns out to be zombies, so one of them gets bit. The other one does a legger. Runs into Nerd Girl, Metal Chick, Nympho, and Vermin.
Yeah.
Do they discover a dead teacher at that stage?
Dead teacher's head.
Yes.
Somewhere, yeah.
And they certainly discover that the undead are roaming around eating them.
Yes.
So they do a runner. Vermin gets his arm bitten.
Yeah. It's around this time that the first guy from the gay couple has gotten it.
Yeah, he's been dead before this.
Not before Vermin got the arm bitten. Vermin got bitten first, and then...
No, before, because do you remember they thought the Nerd Girl was there, and it wasn't the Nerd Girl, it was the undead?
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So, blonde gay guy is very dead.
Yeah, he got absolutely eaten alive, yeah.
Yes. They're running...
You were at Vermin's after getting bitten.
Yeah. They find the secret passageway that Frankenstein was basically using the whole time, which turns out to lead to his lab and a bunch of corridors and things like that.
And his wife.
Well, eventually his wife. Vermin's bitten, he's on the ground.
To find the secret lab and the secret room, which also has the secret photo of him.
No, because they split up.
Yes.
Because you have Metal Chick and Vermin still in the corridor.
Yeah.
Nympho, Nerd Girl, and remaining gay guy do a runner. Find the room, which is basically Frankenstein's bedroom.
Yeah.
We've already seen him in there kind of talking to himself.
Yeah.
And there's the picture.
Talking to the wife.
Well, the wife he's talking to himself. Oh, yes, he is and he isn't.
Yeah, because
he's
you hear her
to
respond.
Yeah, but he's talking, but it's a monologue. He's talking to himself.
Yeah, it was, yes.
But that's where you get the picture of, oh, look, it's that creepy guy and his brother, and it's not his brother, it's Hitler, you baboon! You baboon! Some of the lines are quality. They're cheese, but the film's so cheese that it makes them quality, if you understand me.
Yeah.
Like the gay guy looking for a way out, and the door opens up a door, and the zombies are there. It's like, close it. Goes to the other side of the room, opens up another door, sees the undead fucking wife. Panics. Braddock!
They're panicking!
Now, let's see. Nympho Girl tries to get out through one of the doors and...
Nympho Girl tries to get out through the kind of like the cellar-looking door.
No, that's it! Gay guy opens a door
Scared
and
the shit
finds...
out of me there.
Gay guy opens a door and finds Hitler strapped down and in a chair and freaks the bean and tries to get out, I think. Nympho Girl at one point opens the door. It's like this little closet door, opens it up.
Yeah.
And gets grabbed by the wife.
The wife, yeah.
Who hauls her in. They eventually...
Who doesn't kill her.
Just gnaws on her face a little bit.
Gnaws on her face, but...
Nerd Girl eventually manages to get her out.
Yeah.
Now, they're still trapped, but blah, blah, blah. At which point somebody is used as bait and people do a runner.
It's the slut. Or sorry, the nympho.
Do you remember that thing I do where I try not to give away too much of a story?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Nympho Girl gets eaten and not in the fun way. I assume I always do it because I always do it. Well, I'm trying to... Anyway, people get away.
Yes.
People don't get away.
Some people don't get away, some people do get away.
People make it to a lab where they are cold cocked by fucking Frankenstein.
Yeah. No, one of them doesn't get cold cocked. One of them just gets harpooned through the stomach.
But they do make it to the lab, yeah.
The three... he makes it to the lab on his own first.
No, because Nerd Girl's with him.
No, Nerd Girl follows in afterwards.
No, Nerd Girl is looking at him as he's harpooned from behind.
Oh, yes, she's under the table. Sorry, yeah, she's under
not yet she isn't.
How is she hiding? How is she not hiding if she gets harpooned from behind?
Because unfortunately they did it badly.
Okay.
Technically speaking, Frankenstein can see her,
Yeah.
but I think it's supposed to be it happens so fast she just ducks or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's after they find the body of your man that was missing.
Yeah.
That Nerd
The rocker chick has been killed as well at this stage, I think.
And stuff was.
They're like literally the only two that are left at that stage.
Yeah, rocker chick was got.
We don't tell them because that's actually really well done.
Yeah,
just
there's-
leave that
there's-
out. Yeah, it's very cool.
There's exposition and stuff on Charles's part. Vermin has his fate revealed. Is the best way of putting it.
Yeah.
Anyway, it culminates.
Yes.
It culminates with with Catherine, the nerd girl, being tied up by Charles, who is taking the last little piece, which is the gay lad's ear, sewing it onto Catherine's missing friend, who has apparently been patched together with multiple different pieces. Frankenstein is basically pulling the old Frankenstein.
Yeah.
He's trying to reanimate his ultimate thing, and this is it. So he flicks the switch, and sure enough, it comes to life. And I think we should probably leave it there.
Yeah, I would. I'd definitely say go watch it. It was
It was a hell of a lot more fun than we were expecting it to be. It doesn't take itself too seriously. Does a fantastic job of, I don't want to say parodying, but of doing an 80s style.
tipping the cap.
Yeah.
Tipping the cap to the 80s
Homage.
style.
It's an
horror
homage.
movie.
It does a fantastic job of being an 80s style homage. The horror elements in it are done well. The effects in it are, the gore in it is done well. The comedy is done well, I think. It's just the fact that it doesn't take itself seriously, the fact that it goes from tongue-in-cheek to terror. You know, the gear changing is pretty smooth, but also fairly fucking fast. You know, it's like one-liners. Huh!
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, no, it's very well done. It does like. There's the bits of dialogue stuff, and they tip along. But once the action gets going, the pacing in the film is set out really well. Like the gags aren't all in like one section or anything. It's really well thought out.
It is. It's a genuinely fun movie. Is the best way I can put it. Admittedly, the production values do look similar to certain porn sets I've seen. But bear in mind that those would be the ones that are actually trying to do stories.
Yes, they're the ones who are trying to make a movie that happens to have a lot of sex in it, opposed to...
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but it was the first thing that popped into my head when I saw the Wax Museum set.
Giz is talking about the film quality and like the actual digital quality of the footage. He's not talking about the storyline. He's just talking about the way the footage looks. The movie actually doesn't...
Oh, I don't know. I could have seen that story going a completely different way.
Oh, no, don't get me wrong, dude. Yeah, but you see, with your brain, you can take any fucking movie and adapt it to a pornography like that. Like, I don't know why Vivid or someone hasn't actually hired you at this stage. Like, you can... Anything like that. But to the lay person, it is just a movie.
And in this case...
I do agree with you, though, that it's very...
There's
the quality of stuff.
And to be fair... As I said, because it doesn't take itself too seriously, the double entendres are fucking rife.
They're fucking unbelievable. They're absolutely... Like, I proper laughed out loud at a couple of random bits of it. Intentionally, not like it was crap or anything. Like, I would imagine you were supposed to laugh at them.
Yeah. And I reckon that nerd girl, Catherine, is a hell of a lot more tasty than we're led to believe by the frumpy jumper. Because
she's playing a character, isn't she?
She's cute with the glasses. She's cute without the glasses. Metal Chick is familiar and cute. Nympho Girl is obviously going to be cute. Yeah, it's a colourful, fun, funny, and gory film to watch, and definitely worth to check out. As I said,
when they do the kind of organ eating bits and stuff like that, it looks really good.
Yeah.
There's a very funny kind of post credit scene.
Yeah, that kind of got drawn out of it.
It was funny at the start. Then there's kind of a little section in the middle of it that there's one little gag in it that kind of gets rolled on a little bit too long. But it's like the little punchline out of her at the end though was fucking brilliant.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
But so yeah, it's up on I Bleed Indie. It's from Uncorked. It is
www.ibleindie.com, your one-stop shop for all things Indian horror. Richard Griffin's the director, who did a whopping job at doing it, and he's
He's
also,
also the
the
writer
editor.
along with and he wrote it along with Seth. What was that word before you scrolled down?
Seth
Chitwood.
And he is, let me just check here just to be certain, but I'm pretty sure he edited it as well. He did, film editing by Richard Griffin. So Richard Griffin, you should be very proud of yourself.
Well done, man. That was
well done, sir,
awesome.
because the pacing and the comedy and the action and the horror all mishmashed for a very, very nice recipe of entertainment.
We always have to say it when we're reviewing any films, especially independent movies, that there is always a certain amount of, I don't want to say hesitance, but nervousness.
For you, not for me. I'll watch.
Yeah, nervousness as to just what we're watching and how good it would be, because there is, to be fair,
we have on occasion given a lot of shit.
Yeah. This is not one of those occasions.
This is highly, highly entertaining. You will enjoy yourself from start to finish.
Yeah. Film
Yeah, literally from start to finish. Enough of us waffling on about it. Maybe we'll cut to a trailer, let them have a quick look at the trailer, and then we'll come back and we'll do our goodbyes and the usual thing that we do. So I have my trailer set up here. Skibbity boop boop. Skibbity boo. Skibbity boo.
What horrors await behind the door of this wax museum of terror? Dr. Frankenstein's Wax Museum of the Hungry Dead. What crimes against nature were being committed in this laboratory of the damned?
Let me die. Just let me die.
For these innocent teenagers, death will be a welcomed release when they pay a visit to Dr. Frankenstein's Wax Museum of the Hungry Dead.
I don't want to die!
Frankenstein. He defiled the dead to create a profane new life.
He's alive! Holy shit! He's alive!
The kinkiest, freakiest Frankenstein to hit the screen yet.
Oh my god, it's Hitler!
What the fuck?
Piece by bloody piece, he built a nightmare. Dr. Frankenstein's Wax Museum of the Hungry Dead, starring Michael Thurber as the evil Dr. Frankenstein.
Delicious.
A name that is synonymous with terror and nausea.
You know what they say. Always use every spare part you got.
I'm ahead.
Dr. Frankenstein's Wax Museum of the Hungry Dead.
He is the most powerful creature in the world. Perfect. In a way that would make even God vomit with envy.
Oh no!
The ultimate experiment in terror is about to begin. Dr. Frankenstein's Wax Museum of the Hungry Dead. It will scare you to pieces.
How many weird kinks do you have?
She has many.
Yes.
Many, many kinks is the answer, if anybody wanted to know. So that was the trailer for Dr. Frankenstein's Wax Museum of the Hungry Dead. Something
Or just Hungry Dead.
One little super shout out that has to be given out that I forgot about was the guy, Michael Thurber, that plays Dr. Frankenstein is fucking fantastic at it. Fucking fantastic. A name I won't associate to a lot of people, but he was going for the Boris Karloff-esque Dr. Frankenstein, and he really did. Like, as you pointed out, the kind of the the monologue that he had in the middle of it was very, like, you were drawn into it. It was very, very Karloff-esque, although although he wasn't really comedy-esque in it.
Yeah, he was.
He was a bit hand up, but he wasn't.
He was deliberately sarcastic and smarmy at times.
Oh no, like the character itself was, but I mean, he didn't have any like slapsticky kind of humour.
Kind of did with the whole fucking piecing people together.
No, slapstick's very physical, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a couple of decent puns as people were dying.
He did a great job, regardless. So, that's our zombie episode done. Sorry the live show was a little bit helter-skelter. It's the first Gorecast we've done live.
In a while.
It's the first Gorecast we've done live ever.
We always kind of do it just
all of them
on the assumption.
Yeah, we've always done them as interviews. That's
well,
it. So
I was going to say on the assumption that the show was going out live. This one actually is.
Yeah, well, they're always shot on my lovely camera, and I edit them, and we just do it like we're going out live. But this is for the month of March and some of May, or well, not May, sorry, April. The month of March and some of April, or some of the month of March and some of April, it'll be all live Gorecasting for the next couple of weeks. I cannot wait to tell you why, and we'll let you know very, very soon. You won't believe it because we didn't believe it.
Well.
So, anyway, regardless, that's pretty much the end of the show. Final thing that I have to do is, if you're looking for a Gorecast t-shirt or something like that, pop over to Teespring, the emeraldgoresociety.com. You can get a lovely Emerald Gore Society tee like so, or you can get a very nice Gorecast one like so, or you can get, if you check out the Anna Night, will I just put up the other t-shirt again?
Which one?
You know the one, the Fight Clubby one. I'll give him a quick look, because the last time we saw it was on Anna Nightmares, which
See,
actually...
this is what I'm always on about, have prep first.
Yes, I know, but there was many things to prep. This is why I apologised and said we will be soon. I'll have all the kinks worked out by next week. Blah-de-blah-de-blah.
The picture's right there, right?
The picture is right here, I'm just clicking on it. So, you can get your lovely Gorecast shirt here, as I mentioned, or there is... which actually still does have the Gorecast logo on the front of it, like so. But you have the lovely kind of Fight Club inspired Gorecast t-shirt, because the first rule of Gorecast, ill-conceivably, is don't talk about Gorecast. So if you do want to buy the t-shirt, ignore the message on the t-shirt and do talk about the Gorecast. I just wanted to stay true.
We have loads of stuff if you'd like.
We have loads of stuff.
Support us, including a Patreon thing.
We have a Patreon thing. I started with the t-shirts because I feel that sometimes people don't want to just hand money over. So, Patreon, you help us keep doing what we do and help the Emerald Gore Society keep doing what we do. And if you don't like just handing money over, go get yourself a t-shirt or get a mug, get a hoodie. There's ladies' tees, there's ladies' vests, there's the whole 9 yards. Go check it out.
Are we done with the shameless whoring?
Yeah, we have to shameless whore. I'm sorry. The green guy has broke me down. I know initially at the start of it I was like, I hate doing this, but now the green guy has broke me down and I'm just like, help us keep doing what we do. And get
I feel it's only a matter of time before you come up saying, help us to help you, to help us to entertain you.
Yeah. That was very well put. It was very well put. So, on that note, make sure to check us out next week, where I don't know what we're going to talk about next week yet, but I'm sure we'll be there. So we'll be back probably around the same time next week. It'll be 9-10 o'clock mark.
That was not the time this week.
I said around the same time next week. We went out at 11:30 this week, just because it was a bit later than planned.
Giz, it'll be live. It'll be done way earlier than usual.
Yeah, well, we had to watch a movie first, dude. So,
anyway, from me, the Giz, from him, the Dedly one. See y'all next time. Gorecast.
Out.